Alrighty, so ideally you will have watched I think I called it the bonding and energy review video. Watch that one first, and now you're on kind of the second part of our lesson for today. You're going to be answering some questions about this Model 1 here with that has information about breaking and forming bonds. Before you do that, make sure you take a look at this introduction here. It says chemical reactions can be a lot like playing with Legos, which I mentioned in the previous video. You must take apart part of your last creation before you can replace it with something new. For many chemical reactions, we have to first break bonds in the reactants before we can put atoms back together in new arrangements to form the products. Both of these processes involve changes in energy. In this activity, we will look at one way energy changes can be approximated for chemical reactions. And yeah, I skipped that part because you ain't got to know it. So, Model 1, like I said, it's got some information about breaking and forming bonds in a variety of chemical reactions. If we look on the reactions here, pay close attention to who your reactants are and who your products are, because what you'll notice here is that we're starting with one reactant and we're forming a couple of different products on these equations here. But on the flip side, we're starting with a couple reactants and we're forming one product. So you'll notice that there's some pattern to the way the data tables are set up. We're also given an exact number in the change in energy from our reactants to our products. So your job is going to be to find some patterns in this data here. Question number 1 is going to ask you to define what an exothermic and endothermic reaction is. You can use Google for this one. Just make sure that you're paying close attention to the flow of energy within those reactions. Questions 2 and 3 are going to ask you which reactions are showing bonds being broken and which ones are showing bonds being formed. For question number 4, you need to highlight the word that you would choose to complete each of these sentences. They're dealing with breaking or forming bonds and deciding, is it exothermic or endothermic? And question number 5 says to find two reactions in Model 1 that are exact opposites of each other's. We call them reverse reactions. So if you were to read like reaction A going forward, which ones of these reactions is like reading it backwards? So that's why we call them reverse reactions. And you're going to take a close look at the change in energy in those pairs. So once you have those questions done, then you're going to go and watch my next video, which is called Introduction to Exothermic and Endothermic Reactions. And then we've got a few more questions to answer.